Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode. Because in this episode, we're going to be starting a Sims 4 save file. No. Alright, well, first things first, we're going to import somebody. We're going to import Anime Ketchup here. Alright. Everybody welcome Anime Ketchup. She is the anime schoolgirl. Now that we have Anime Ketchup, let's create the vampire of the family. An old, decrepit Sim from centuries ago who just so happened to be Anime Ketchup's father. So this Sim took a surprisingly long amount of time to create, but he's kind of like your stereotypical old guy who just so happens to be a vampire, you know? He's always wearing his pajamas. He's wrinkly. He is an elder, unlike a certain Vlad we know, who happens to not be an elder. Surprisingly, yeah, Vlad is a young adult. Surprised to any of you? Let me know in the comments or some shit. Helps the algorithm. So I'm experimenting with beards here. You know, what beard looks best on him, and I decided it's that one. Now we gotta dress him up, and I'll just play some music over that. I hope you like the music. If you don't, shut the fuck up. And there you go, just as simple as that. We've completed Count Evanton Crinkly Bottom, I think was his name. There you go. Yeah, he's done now. And now we're starting on a werewolf sim. Now, I have quite the idea for this werewolf sim. And I'll just sit and let you figure that out on your own. It's pretty good. Enjoy the stock music I got off YouTube. And also, one thing about werewolf sims is they howl so much in Create Sim. It's the most annoying thing ever. Now I'll take a guess at it. Alright, I'll give you a moment. It might be a little tricky to see it now as we're still early in the development. So, you know. Alright, now it's a little closer. Alright? Yeah, it's a pug. We're making a werepug. Let's go. Fuck, how do I set this thing shit? So the idea with the werepug is to make him like a billion times classier and better looking and acting than the human version, which of course is quite difficult to pull off in this pack. But honestly, the human form is going to be an absolute disgrace. Like, I want them to be two separate personalities, which you can't do in The Sims, which kind of sucks. So when I eventually get around to building the personality, I'm just going to do it around like what I, you know, it. I can't speak and it doesn't matter. So that's all for the werepug. So coming up soon is the sister of Anime Ketchup. First, we have to make the sim version of the werepug a little angrier. And now here I was just getting a ghost sim. So this is the sister of Anime Ketchup. Someone who I like to call the Vengeful Spirit. And that's also their name, the Vengeful Spirit. So the Vengeful Spirit was quite the interesting character to create because I wanted to make it just like your stereotypical ghost. So that took a lot of work, but like one of the things I put a lot of outfit into was a lot of thought into was the outfit. Because I don't want this ghost just wearing modern outfit. That doesn't seem very scary and ghostly. So I started experimenting a bit, and eventually found the vampire dresses would looked pretty good, along with some rougher hair. And the vengeful spirit wrapped up pretty quickly. I mean, there's nothing too crazy about their face or anything. They're just a ghost. And now we are moving into the house. Okay. Yes. Now I'm going to spend a ridiculous amount of time building. So here, I was unhappy with the size of the lot. I'm trying to build this great Victorian mansion, and the lot size just isn't doing me any favors. So as you can see, I start to mess around, maybe fiddle with it, change the size a bit. I did want to have a nice backyard and stuff, but I also wanted the house to be fairly big. Because, this is an old vampire's house. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And, let's just fucking evict Vlad. No one cares about Vlad. Let's go evict him. I live there now, okay? I'm doing a lot of building here, building the porch and shit. So first I'm going to start off by building the general shape of the house, how the house is going to look. You know, like the general shape and exterior, I always start with the exterior. Now, something else to note about this house is that this took me many, many hours to do, and my video editor only allows me to speed up times 10. So you're probably going to have, so this video is like 27 minutes long, and you're probably going to have to expect a second part if I want to show you the entire speed build In the comments, tell me if you want to see the whole speed build or if you just want to skip all that and see the finished product. You just watched me completely change my plan. See, the thing with these builds that I'll do in The Sims 4, I do a lot of these. I'm probably gonna post a lot of these, but because I just love building in this game, right? But a lot of times I never go in with a plan. I just kind of have a general idea of what kind of house I want to make. Like this one, um, Evanton Crinkly Bottom the second, or whatever the fuck his name is the owner of this house, and he's just a really old vampire. So I'm like, vampire, old. Obviously, we're gonna do a Victorian mansion, of course. Now he doesn't seem like your typical Victorian mansion vampire owner, which is where I change things up. I don't like to have my Sims be completely stereotypical. I take a stereotype and then change it just a little bit, or at least that's kind of what I like to do. I am changing the house's floor plan a lot, and you can tell that this is the kind of house where you look at it from the front, it's really nice. Look at it from the back, nah, not so much. I am experimenting here with different types of wallpaper. I eventually just land on going with the same bricks. I wanted to change things up color wise. I wanted there to be more color to it, but none of them looked as good. I did, and of course I thought there has to be some difference, of course. So I changed that up a bit to the wood. Yeah, this is just, very long process. I'm not sure if I should explain this whole thing or just leave it mostly music. But you'll probably tell which one I did by the end of the video. Or well, when you're watching this post editing. Oh yeah, the third floor. So this house is like a 3-story mansion, of course. 3 stories, it's great. And the back is still very, very flat. Now, one thing that's interesting about this house to me is it's my first, well, it's not my first time doing a house in Victorian style, but it's surprisingly one of the first times where I put little roof segments like that, and I think it looks really good. I'm still pretty ass at Sims 4 building, despite what this build looks like. This build is incredibly good by my standards. So, and I've seen a lot better. It's crazy what this community can do. Now here I start to change up once I'm done with all this terrain and, fucking, yeah, now I start on the floor plan, right? I'm thinking, like, what room's gonna be what size should they be, and where should I put them? Now, there are a lot of empty gaps and spaces where I'm not putting any rooms, but that's mostly because I started with a really, really weird outline. So, what am I gonna do with those spaces? Yeah, I'm not the best builder, especially considering I didn't do that, but now I'm going in and putting in the windows, of course. No house is complete without the windows. Now I am doing a little bit of window experimentation. Now that window in the kitchen is basically the only window in the entire build that will not end up covered in a curtain. Um so part 2 has already been recorded, just so you know. And it's a lot. So part 2 is basically just a continuation of the build and stuff. Because this build took a very long time, so, like, subscribe, whatever the fucking shit you want. And so I'm putting all these vines on there, which at the time I thought looked a lot better, but now that I'm rewatching it, maybe they weren't the best choice. But they're there in the finished product, so if you don't like them, just deal with it. And now we're starting to wrap up the living room here. I really do like how this house eventually ended up, but I will definitely say that the first floor is a little lacking compared to the others. I mean, I started on the first floor and I started to get into the swing of things. So, it was a little rough. I'm just trying to figure out all these tools and what can I do and pull off. You know what I mean? So these living rooms and whatnot are a little rougher. I'm still figuring things out. I don't know why the fuck I'm messing with that T-Rex skull. But now we're moving on to the kitchen. And I originally was going to make this house off the grid. I'm pretty sure it still functions off the grid, maybe. Except for like a few computers and stuff. But, I decided against it as it just didn't seem what I just didn't want to. Alright? You're not the one building the fucking house. If you want to build a Victorian off the grid house, knock yourself out. Well, the house is still far, far from completion, and this video is far, far too long. So, we're gonna split this into 2 parts. Part 1, part 2, and go watch that second part, please, and thank you. I promise it'll also be good. So, yeah, that's about it for this video. The second part should be up shortly when I finish editing, of course. And unfortunately, that's all I got for today's video. Tune in on my last episode, which should be popping up on the screen pretty soon here. Subscribe to the channel. And goodbye. The screen's gone black now. Boo!